guys, it is Tristan with Nerdut's Newsstand, and we've talked a lot in the past about different ways that DC is trying to bring relevance to a younger crowd. We know that anime and manga is huge, absolutely massive in that demographic, and DC wants to compete with that, and we've seen different attempts to do so. Mostly not good. Mostly by the way of stuff like I Am Not Starfire. Yeah, that wasn't good. But they have since then tried to get away from that terrible YA market and really look into what would actually work. And I think a lot of that is at behest of Daniel Cherry III. I think he's doing a good job of actually changing things up and bringing in that new fresh perspective. Seems to be working. First off, the stuff they're doing with Fortnite is awesome. Like, there is no reason why that Fortnite comic should have been that good, but it was. Like, it was one of the best titles every single time it came out of the week. It was really oddly good. Now, I knew a little bit about Fortnite. I do play a little bit of Fortnite. Shut up. They have cool characters. Like, what other video game can you beat up Snake Eyes as Wonder Woman? Or can you take on Gamora as the Batman? Like, come on. That's pretty fucking cool. Anyways, so that did really well. And they actually just introduced Wonder Woman into the mythos now as of yesterday. But even so, it sold well. And it's going to continue to sell well. They put in different gear. It worked out really, really well. Well, now we have another idea or another announcement that they're going to try to add to the flavor, getting that younger market in. And I think it's really smart. So if you guys know anything about Webtoons, I don't. I had to do a little bit of research before this. I actually seen it on an ad at one point, and I'm like, what is this, right? I looked into it. It really wasn't for me. I couldn't find a whole lot of content that I liked, but I did keep it because Steven Stajek is on there, and I enjoy his work immensely. If you've ever read any of his personal graphic novels, he's amazing. Like, he does a great job, and it's not superhero comics. It's more like BDSM comics, but still, it's really good. Anyways, so I follow him on there, and that's the only person I ever look at that platform for. But right now, that's going to change because we're seeing DC Comics coming into the Webtoon universe with no previous knowledge of anything needed. And I think this is very smart on the basis of we need kids to enjoy our comics. Now, if you look at the numbers for Comic-Con, you will see that the younger titles do not sell. The younger titles do not sell. And I'm talking about Teen Titans Academy, the yearbook one, Crush and Lobo. It's not that they do not sell, they just sell substantially bad. And especially looking at these, because the numbers were just released for June, it looks like a lot of what we're seeing is a lot of people complaining that the Bat titles take over about 50% of the solicitations. And I totally think it's a valid complaint. But about 80%, well, not quite 80, I would say 70% of the top selling titles from DC Comics are Batman titles. So they're milking that golden goose. And unfortunately, everybody loves a good Batman story. Or fortunately, whichever. Pick your poison. Well, anyways, with all of that being said, we had a new Variety article this morning saying that the DC characters are coming to webcomics through a deal with Webtoon. Yeah, that's really smart. That's very smart. It is going to introduce characters earlier. It is going to make these characters more viable for a younger audience. And then you can still have your good titles that, old people like me want to read like Batman or Action Comics or Detective Comics. Don't sleep on Detective Comics. I'm telling you, it's so good. Anyways, it looks like they will be introducing through the platform under the new agreement, DC and Webtoon, which is, I've never heard of this company, never, will collaborate on a standalone webcomic that will appeal to all fans, aka I'm gonna read it, without the need for any to know or to read any previous stories. And I think that's a big deal. So there are a lot of times, even myself, I'll notice that I do not jump onto certain runs because it's at 18 or 20 or 35 and I don't know what happened previously unless I have time to go back and read, the omnibus or something like that. But there are a lot of times when that's a little intimidating. Doesn't matter which character it is, it's intimidating. And then DC has a problem of, just like I've said before, when it comes to continuity, specifying where things take place, when things take place. And I do think it would be smart for them every single week to put out, or smart for the comic books in general, to put out something that says, okay, this arc just ended, right? And now this one is beginning on every single brand, whether it's Marvel or whether it is DC. Look, his Dark Designs just ended. Ghostmaker, or I think that was called Ghostmaker after that, wasn't it? I don't remember. Anyways, is beginning. Right here is a good jumping on point. And if they did that throughout the titles, right, that would be a very smart marketing tool to show people when to, looking at Detective Comics 1029 is a little whoa, what did I miss? At least in my mind, that's just how I work. So I think it would be smart. But with this, you won't need any of that. You won't need a single ounce of that because you don't need to know anything or read any previous stories. And that's really smart. So let's talk about characters. They aren't really giving out too much details, but they are looking at Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, The Flash, Green Lantern, and Aquaman. And I would like to see them maybe add to that. Like, we've got your general superheroes there, but not a damn villain. Maybe that'll come with the story. Maybe. DC is excited to introduce our iconic characters to a new generation of fans worldwide. Working closely with the Webtoons writers and artists to adapt our characters and stories to Webtoons mobile format. Our shared goal is to create fun and compelling DC stories that all readers will enjoy. And I think they're hoping eventually people make that leap. And I think that's a good way to look at it. There are 72 million monthly active users on Webtoon. That's a really good number to actually want your base and your fans to interact with. About 10 million of which are in the US. Even that's a massive number. This is really smart. So it says Webtoon takes well-known intellectual properties like DC's to develop into content for younger generations. Now, this may be something I have no interest in after reading a few of them, right? This may be something that I actually dislike. It does seem to keep drilling home that younger market. And that's fine. There's no reason why I have to like it. I just won't read it. But it's worth checking out, at least in my opinion. So it says Webtoons webcomics typically comprise 50 to 60 episodes per season. And each episode is normally 50 to 70 panels presented in a vertical scroll format. The app standard release model provides 1 to 3 free episodes with 3 to 5 paid episodes behind a paywall. And they're only about 50 cents each, with more free content released on a weekly basis. Yeah, I think this is extremely smart. I think this is going to work out very well. And I think it is to Daniel Cherry's benefit that he's actually looking at that younger audience. Again, not just with terrible YAs, with, good content. And I'm not talking about just this because we don't know if this is good yet. But if it goes any by the ways of the Fortnite comment, it's probably going to be good, pretty good. Says this collaboration is a landmark for us and we work towards a new age of digital comics in the US. Finally, they wised up and went to that digital comics. I've been saying that for the entire length of my channel. Don't sleep on the digital. Finally, we're seeing them catch up. Anyways, let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you think this is going to be beneficial. I absolutely do. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.